Good evening, and welcome to the February 20th edition of Dave TV. And now, the news. The prospect of a government shutdown appeared more possible Saturday after the House passed a budget measure in the pre-dawn hours that cut $61 billion from the budget, and it was immediately rejected by the Senate Democrats and President Obama. The Washington Post reports that the House plan, which was approved on a party line vote after 5 days of debate, eliminates dozens of programs and offices, including federal funding for Arlington-based PBS and Washington-based National Public Radio. All Washington area public broadcasters, to television stations anyway, are running announcements asking their viewers to please contact their congressional representatives to ask them to preserve funding for public broadcasting. These ads have been running on Channel 26, WETA, and Channel 22, WMPT. In other news, the Washington Post on Monday issued a correction, one of its many corrections. Apparently on February 11th, it ran an article which claimed that John Kent Cooke, who was the Redskins owner at the time, was the inspiration for calling the site of the FedEx Field Stadium, which was not called FedEx Field, but anyhow, the Redskins Stadium in Landover, to call the place Raoul John. Well, actually, it was Jack Kent Cooke, who also owned the team, his father, who came up with that idea by combining the sons Ralph and John together to make Raoul John. The Post ultimately apologizes for its error. And now I would like to mention another fine newspaper, the Washington Examiner. It's free, and it comes on your doorstep 2 days a week, piling up like rag garbage. In their fair and balanced local news section on Sunday, they mentioned Tim Kaine, the former Virginia Democratic governor, as possibly being a candidate for the U.S. Senate. And they have, most of the article mentions the fact that he's been lambasted by the Republicans to the tune of Welcome Back, Kotter. A GOP-produced video shows newspaper headlines from the end of Kaine's tenure as governor, and one's highlighting his GOP gains in the Virginia during Kaine's time as the head of the Democratic National Committee. Obviously, the Examiner, in its fair and balanced local news section, does not like Tim Kaine. This is a great newspaper. You know, when people say, "Hey, I work for the Washington Post," you know, any people around the country will go, "Yeah, right, yeah, right." But when they say, "I work for the Washington Examiner," my goodness, I work for a freebie tab in Washington that gets distributed to local homes, people's driveways twice a week. They shake and they shiver in awe. And finally, in our press roundup today, we look at the great Washington Post. Look at this ad. Look at this ad. Look how it runs. It starts out at the top of the page, and then it runs down kind of the middle of the page. Okay, there's an article here about Al-Qaeda, and then over here is a post promo, but the ad runs down the middle of the page and then spreads out again at the bottom of the page. Yes, it's Comcast saying how they're no longer going to require you to have cable TV service if you want to get the lowest price rate on your internet package. So that means all you Comcasters can now go and say goodbye to your cable TV and go get some satellite or internet provider, and you can still pay the low rate on your broadband internet. Well, I would like to thank you all for this abbreviated edition of Dave TV. Oh, did you notice? We're now in high def. Goodbye and God bless, and thank you for watching the February 21st edition of Dave TV. Courage. Oh, God. I feel like I'm in a noose. Get this